My name is Hania. I opened my eyes in a family where there was nothing but poverty. I was born in a beggar's house and was called a beggar's daughter. As if God had made me with great leisure. I was very beautiful. It did not seem that I was born in a family of beggars. Whoever saw me would regret my fate. Look how beautiful the girl is. But I was born in a beggar's house. This poor girl will beg. If there were any other parents, they would have hidden their daughter under 7 curtains. So that their daughter's beauty and charm would not be spoiled by this son. But my parents were beggars. They could not have such thoughts. Because of me, people started giving them more alms. They would also make me sit with them. Even if I did not say anything. Still, the bowl placed in front of me would be filled with notes by evening. I remained a beggar with my parents for 10 years. When I grew up a little, my mother gave me a job as a sweeper in a big house. I started doing the same job. With the passage of time, I turned 15. At that age, beggars usually marry their children off. So that they can move forward quickly and add some more people to their network. One day, I heard my mother talking to my father and she was saying that Begum Sahiba had promised to give me a lot of money in return for this work. You see how I will become rich through my beautiful daughter Hariya. I did not understand what my mother was saying. How could she become rich through me? The next day, my mother called me and said, I am marrying you. But remember one thing. I will become rich only through a beautiful daughter Hariya. I did not understand what my mother was saying. How could she become rich through me? The next day, my mother called me and said, I am marrying you. But remember one thing. I am marrying you only for the sake of a child who will be given to me as soon as he is born. I said in surprise. Amma, why would I give you my child? Amma said, I will tell you later. Just remember that from now on you will only do what I say. Who did Amma get me married to? I had not even seen my husband's face. Amma had told me not to insist on seeing my husband's face. Otherwise he would leave you. After the marriage, Amma sent me to a dark room. My husband also came there. I did not see his face nor did he see mine. After a month, I received good news. My mother took great care of me for months and when my child was born, Amma did not even let him see me and left me in the bungalow of a wealthy begum. And in return, she brought a lot of money. I was young, but I also had enough sense. That Amma's step that she sold my child to someone else was shocking to me. I cried a lot but Amma scolded me and said you are crying. Don't you think that I have secured your child's future? He will be brought up in this bungalow. What did I do? I kept quiet. I didn't even know who his father was. With whose help would I fight Amma? But after a few days Amma asked me again. Give me a child. I want another Begum Sahib. She has no children. So she told me. I said angrily. You yourself should give birth to a child. Why are you telling me? These Begum Sahibs have big noses. They want a beautiful child like you. That's why I am telling you. Amma started sending my husband to me again. But he also always hid his face. And he would come to the room in the dark. One day I asked my husband why he covered his face. He said that I married you not of my own free will but on the orders of your mother. She gave me 50,000 last time to get you pregnant. And now she has promised to give me 100,000. I hide my face because this is also your mother's condition. Anyway, I am doing all this by marrying you because of my poverty. Otherwise, I am not so hard-hearted that I would do bad and wrong to any girl. I was very impressed by her words and told her that yes, because this is also your mother's condition. Anyway, I am doing all this by marrying you because of my poverty. Otherwise, I am not so hard-hearted that I would do bad and wrong to any girl. I was very impressed by her words and told her that show me your face, I will not say anything to anyone, but she did not agree. I became pregnant for the second time. This time, a son was born in my house again and he was very beautiful. This time, when I saw my child, I realized that he was not attracted to me. Maybe he was attracted to his father. I thought he would be very beautiful. That's when our child was so cute. I had thought that I would tell him that we were running away from Emma's clutches. I was starting to fall in love with him. Although I had not seen his appearance, I could say for sure that he would be very handsome. I had not yet gotten out of bed when Amma entered my room one day in a rage. She said, "Your husband has sent you a divorce letter." I was so lost. I had never thought that something so bad could happen to me. I was so in my grief that I did not know that Amma had again given Mir Abcha to a rich bungalow owner. In return, she brought a bag full of notes. Now the situation at home was changing because of me. But I had given birth to 2 children and told Amma clearly that I would not give birth to any more children for her. Amma said, "If I am not useful, where will I go? This society treats a single girl badly. Where have you seen the outside world just now? Despite poverty, I kept you as my queen by begging. I spent on you and now you are giving me this reward." I lost in front of Amma's words. Where would I go out of these 4 walls? I had not even stepped out of here till today. I was forced to obey Amma. This time she got me married for the second time to a beautiful boy, but he was a victim of wrong company and a gambler. When I would tell Amma, she would say, "What should I do? What kind of boy is he? Just have children and become his wife. There is no need to become his wife." Thus I started having a child every year. I did not care about my husband at all. If he had given me a wife, we would have left Amma's house and gone somewhere and established our own separate life, but he himself was growing up on the pieces of my mother and he was happy in that. Thus I also came to terms with the situation. The child I gave birth to, Amma used to leave him at the bungalows of rich people. And in return, she would come home with a lot of money. Now, after earning so many years, we had accumulated so much money that we could have bought a bungalow, but my mother's greed would not go away, and she would leave it at the bungalows of rich people. And in return, she would come home with a lot of money. Now, after earning so many years, we had accumulated so much money that we could have bought a bungalow, but my mother's greed would not go away. By God's grace, some complications arose at the time of her birth that year. The lady doctor told me not to have any children for the next 3 years. Otherwise, this time you too could die. The news of my death could have stopped Amma. Otherwise, she would not have been able to bear children twice a year instead of once. I came home. I had intended that this time I would take my husband and go away from Amma's life. But fate had not written it that way. Whenever I thought that I would be away from Amma now, then something would happen that left me with no other option but to rely on my mother. It was the 3rd day after I came back from the hospital when the doomsday came upon me and my mother. My father and my husband were going somewhere on a motorcycle when they met with an accident. They did not even have time to take them to the hospital. They both died on the spot and both my mother and I became widows. After some time passed, I said, "Mother, I know that you will get me married for the 3rd time very soon. But I want to enjoy life for 2 or 3 years now. I want to roam around. What will we do with so much wealth if we die tomorrow? This wealth will remain just like that. Mother also understood my point. We packed our things and came to a new city, Lahore. We rented a house. Every day, my mother and I would go out to see the special places of Lahore. I had promised my mother that if she wanted me to spend these 2 years as she pleased, she would let me. Coming here, I had forgotten all my wounds. I was starting to like life and I fell in love for the first time in this city. My first meeting with this boy was in the Badshahi Mosque. I suddenly got worried about him and almost fell down. It was like a movie scene. He held my hand and saved me from falling. For a while we both looked at each other in surprise. Then I quickly straightened up and thanked him and immediately ran out, where my mother was waiting for me. It was only a few moments of meeting, but in this meeting the dreams that were sleeping in my heart were awakened. I liked that boy very much. The next day I went to the same mosque again. Maybe I would meet him. Today too my prayer was fulfilled. He was sitting in a corner of the mosque courtyard, drawing something on paper and waiting. It was only a few moments of meeting, but in this meeting the dreams that were sleeping in my heart were awakened. I liked that boy very much. The next day I went to the same mosque again. Maybe I would meet him. Today too my prayer was fulfilled. He was sitting in a corner of the mosque courtyard, drawing something on paper. Unintentionally, my steps started moving in that direction. He turned towards me in surprise. I thanked him for starting the conversation, and he smiled too. His name was Javed, and he was an artist. We became good friends. I was just talking to him when suddenly Amma appeared. I got scared. I ran from there and came to Amma. Amma asked who he was talking to. Hearing Amma's words, I got scared and asked to draw. Amma, he is an artist. I was asking him the price. Amma said, you can also pay me and get it done. The next day Amma said, I am feeling a bit unwell. Go alone today. I went alone today and asked Javed. Make a picture of me too. He handed me a paper. I drew your picture first when I went home yesterday. He had drawn a very beautiful picture of me. I understood from his words that he had started liking me, so I started meeting him secretly from Amma. I wanted him to propose me for marriage. Only then would I tell Amma. I was tired of my life. I had had enough of having children for others. Javed was a good boy. He was 4 years older than me. All his siblings were married. I hoped that he would definitely ask me to marry him. And Mirawal was right. Today he asked me to marry him. I said yes. But the bad thing was that Amma saw everything at that moment. He told me to go. I will talk to your Amma and convince her. I came back. After an hour, Amma returned home and said that I am ready to marry you both. I was very surprised how Javed did this because Amma had something else in mind for me. She wanted to send me into the world of modeling. And now suddenly they agreed to my marriage. It was all very surprising. The next day Javed came with a regular relationship and said that we will get married next Friday. It was clear from Amma's attitude that she did not like Javed. Rather, there was some compulsion that she was enduring. I could not understand anything. But it was enough for me that Amma had agreed to our marriage. I told Javed nothing about my old life. I did not tell Javed anything about my old life because I did not want to lose him. I had also strictly forbidden Amma to tell her about my past. On Friday, I started getting ready ahead of time. Amma did not seem happy with this marriage, and then at the exact moment, who knows, told Javed the truth about us. Javed brought the police on the charge of cheating. And we had to flee. We were waiting for the train at the railway station when suddenly I saw the police and Javed coming from one side, and I was shocked. I stood up in fear. Perhaps we had been destined to run away until here, and now the four walls of the prison were our destiny. Amma also got scared seeing the police and Javed and wanted to hold my hand and run away, but by then the police had reached my head. The police only handcuffed Amma but not me. I looked at him in shock. But he was not paying attention to me. Javed told the police, "You guys take this woman away. I am coming after you with my future wife." What was all this happening? I didn't understand anything. The police had only arrested Amma. Why hadn't they arrested me? Had Javed forgiven me? But looking at his face, it didn't seem like it. He asked me to sit in the train and parked the train behind the policeman. I wanted to say something, but the words kept coming to my lips and I couldn't breathe. What should I say? I was a sinner myself. I had hidden a big truth, but there was no punishment based on that. Strange thoughts were coming to my mind till we reached the police station. My heart was trembling, thinking what would happen now. When I came inside, my mother was shouting and asking me what my fault was, what I had done, why I was arrested. Javed stepped forward and said, "For the crime of selling young children. For the crime of destroying my innocent daughter's childhood in the greed of money." I was stunned. Did he know everything? I said, "Who told you all this?" He said, "That day, your mother and I recognized each other in the mosque. But neither of us revealed it to you. I belong to a poor family. After my father's death, it was my responsibility to take care of my younger siblings. So I left my studies and started working. But sometimes I got a job, sometimes not. Then I found your mother. I was a handsome boy. And she wanted a husband like that for her daughter. But when she told me the whole story, she said, she will give me money to get her daughter pregnant. And I would have no right over my wife and child. It was a very strange thing. I refused, but after a few days, when I saw them starving in my house, I was forced to agree. This woman got me married to her innocent 15-year-old daughter. I was about 19 years old. This woman had told me that she wanted 2 children, which she would give to a bungalow owner, after which I could take my wife with me. I felt very sorry for this girl, but then I thought, what does she care? She is also married to her mother. Whenever I went near her, I would go dark and hide my face. I did not want you to recognize me tomorrow. What honor would I have in front of my family? When we had 2 children and your mother asked for a third, I flatly refused because now I had started loving you and we had decided to have only 2 children. I wanted to live my life anew with you. When I told your mother all this, she placed the district papers in front of her the very next day. And said that my daughter wants to divorce you. She does not want to live with you. I could not forcefully tie anyone to me, nor could I give birth to innocent children and leave them behind. So I signed the divorce papers and started moving forward in my life. I worked hard and got my sisters married. In these 6 years, the Lord gave me a lot. The pictures I made started selling well and my financial situation started improving. Time had moved on. But I did not get married. Because I still loved you. Then nature provided me with the opportunity to meet you in my own house. Then I understood that now the time had come for us to meet and for you to be free. Your mother was once again ready to make me her son-in-law on the previous terms. But now the game was in my hands. I said that I will tell your daughter everything. What you did first, you married me for the greed of money, and then you divorced me and married your daughter somewhere else. You have only made your daughter a means of earning. Now it is better to get us married. But now your mother wants to make you a model to take more advantage of you. I will tell you everything. What you did. First you married me for the greed of money, and then you divorced me and married your daughter somewhere else. You have only made your daughter a means of earning. Now it is better to get us married. But now your mother wanted to make you a model to take more advantage of you. That is why she used to tell me every day that I should refuse to get married. You married me and then you divorced me and married your daughter somewhere else. You have only made your daughter a means of earning. Now it is better to get us married. But now your mother wanted to make you a model to take more advantage of you. That is why she used to tell me every day that I should refuse to get married. Today was the day of our marriage. That is why I wanted this woman to be punished. But this woman heard everything. The employee told me that your mother-in-law had come. But at that time you were talking to a policeman friend of yours. She went back after hearing what you said. I understood that she had heard everything and now she would prepare to run away. That is why I quickly followed you guys and reached here. I was shocked to hear the whole story. Javed was my first husband. I could not believe it. After some time, we got married right there in the police station. I started a new and good life in front of my mother. The police also brought back my and Javed's children. The bungalow owners made a lot of noise that we had paid the money for these children, but the court ruled in our favor. I never tired of thanking God that He had ended my trials and rewarded my patience by blessing me with a good companion. I did not want my mother to go to jail, but Javed said that she should be punished a little so that she would realize her mistake.